Bleach Rebirth of Souls may look like a simple arena fighter at first, but if you look deeper, you'll find plenty of unconventional systems that promise to make this game very unique. Among them is the Konpaku system. By depleting your opponent's health bar, you don't simply win the battle or the round. Instead, you damage their soul by depleting stocks of their Konpaku. But how many stocks you take from your opponents depend on a variety of factors, so today I'm breaking down exactly how this works so you can better understand these unique systems and enjoy this Bleach gameplay so much more. This Konpaku system is going to utilize every other system this game has. Everything influences the Konpaku, so let's start with the basics. Before we even get to those stocks, what you have here is a very familiar genre of game. You have full 3D movement, and you have 3 different types of attacks. Looking at Ichigo here, you have your light attacks, which result in this quick rush. You've got your flash attacks, that's what they call them, which is when Ichigo has this yellow aura to his moves. And then you have this big spinning move where Ichigo glows red. This is kind of a heavy attack that blows the opponent away. All of these attacks are universal. The characters' attacks will look different, and they will be very unique for sure, but they each seem to have these 3 types. On top of that, characters also have signature moves. For instance, Yoruichi's here is Anken, which is this quick knife that she throws with her feet. And these signature moves are also unique for every single character. As far as movement goes, I don't think this game has a jump button. Whether you are battling on the ground or skywalking, that's because the battle took you there. Because you landed some move or you got hit by something that made you fly off. So it just happens automatically. But you also seem to have a dodge button that you can use to dodge in any direction. Different characters have different dodge speeds and distances. Yoruichi here, dodging towards Ichigo, may even look like a homing dash, but it might honestly just be that her dodge is godlike, which makes sense. She's a fast character after all. You can also block, but not forever. There's a block bar at the top of the screen that regenerates over time, but if you block too much, that's gonna break and leave you open. On top of that, characters have 2 bars of meter. One of them is your spiritual pressure in yellow, and the other one is your reverse in white. Spiritual pressure moves are very unique for each character. On the other hand, some reverse moves are actually universal. For instance, for half a bar of reverse, we can see Yoruichi here using Flash Step, skipping to Ichigo's back, landing a counterattack that leads to a full combo. Another move that seems universal is Reverse Action. This is a state that you activate buffing your character. And depending on how you activate it, your character will shine a different color and you'll get a different buff from it. Activating this in neutral will give your character a white glow, which will increase your spiritual pressure as well as the health you recover over time. Activating Reverse Action while you're landing a combo will activate Yellow Reverse, which works like a combo cancel, meaning you can use this to extend combos further than normal, while also providing you with an increase in spiritual pressure. And finally, if you're getting comboed by your opponent, you may use this as a combo breaker, activating the Blue Reverse, which not only breaks the opponent's combo, but recovers your guard gauge so you can block again. And these are the basics of battle. But as you play, you may have also noticed that passively, there's a bar next to your health that is always increasing. And once it's full, you can activate your character's evolution, unlocking their full potential. After that evolution is triggered, the bar will start filling up again, activating a second mode called Sublimation. And after Sublimation is obtained, the bar keeps filling up. That is until it's full and you reach Spirit Drive, at which point it's now reached its max. The full effects of Sublimation and Spirit Drive are currently unknown. We can figure out a little bit about Sublimation, and I do have some theories about Spirit Drive. But for the full effects, we'll have to wait for further details for us to learn more. But that's all the systems that we need to know to break down the Konpaku system, which has been the one that Bandai is struggling to explain the most, and it's surprisingly simple to understand if you know what to look for. The most basic explanation of the Konpaku system is that you'll deal damage to your opponent's Reishi till you can finish them with a Kikon move damaging their Konpaku. Already lost you? Too much Japanese? No worries, let me simplify it. You'll deal damage to your opponent's health till you can finish them with a cinematic super, taking stocks off of their soul. And now you don't have to learn a second language in order to understand this game. Now, at the very least, you will take 2 stocks off of your opponent's soul. But we've seen as many as 5 being taken at once. And I believe you can take even the full 9 in one go. That's maybe a bit theoretical at this point, but after deeply analyzing the gameplay, I can guarantee that Ichigo here can take at least 6 in a single move. So let's see how that works. Once the opponent reaches 30% health, you'll notice that the health bar becomes red. At this point, if you hit them with a combo, you can blow them away with that heavy attack and link that into your cinematic super, which will take 2 stocks out of your opponent's soul. Let's call this the default. By default, you can take 2 stocks of the opponent's soul. Now, you can increase the number of stocks you take in many different ways. One of them is Soul Break. Soul Break is simple. Instead of launching your super when the opponent is at 30% health, just keep dealing damage until their health bar is empty. This triggers Soul Break, and your super will happen automatically afterwards. and instead of taking 2 stocks, you now take 3. So if by default you take 2 stocks, we could say that Soul Break, or fully depleting the health bar, is a +1. And we can keep stacking more +1s, and that's how we can deal some absolutely devastating damage. Another one we've seen multiple times is evolutions. By triggering a character's evolution, they will take, by default, an extra stock for the rest of the game. Let's look at a couple of examples here. Yoruichi here is activating her evolution, and Ichigo is already below 30% health. So she just kicks him with a heavy attack and immediately connects into a super. Since she has already evolved but did not trigger a Soul Break, this means she'll get the default 2 stocks +1 for her evolution, for 3 damage in total. Later in that same fight, we have Ichigo already evolved. You can see that he's got his Bankai state, and he's going to fully deplete Yoruichi's health, triggering that Soul Break. So that is the default 2 stocks, +1 from the evolution, +1 from the Soul Break, for a total of 4 damage. So far so good? Great. How can we add even more to this? Well, this is where Sublimation comes in. Remember that the evolution bar keeps filling up even after you have evolved. And once it's full, you'll see that your character enters Sublimation. Well, this state automatically gives you another +1. We can see here that Byakuya has already evolved, and that bar has already filled up enough that he has Sublimation active. So when he hits Rukia with this Soul Break, we have the default 2 stocks, +1 for Soul Break, +1 for Evolution, +1 for Sublimation, which means 5 stocks of damage in total. But I can see you want more, and I did promise you 6 stocks in one go, so let's have a little exercise. Let's put your knowledge to the test. How many stocks is Ichigo supposed to take from Yoruichi here? He doesn't have an evolution or sublimation. He didn't trigger Soul Break. So how many stocks do you think Yoruichi loses here? If your answer was 2, then you would be correct. He has no +1s whatsoever, so he only gets the default. However, the game says you're wrong. Why did that take 3 stocks, you ask? Well, turns out that even though these are universal rules for everyone, some characters can break those rules, and Ichigo is one of them. Ichigo has a +1 available to him, and only him, through reverse action. During the Ichigo trailer, you may remember that the first description said that reverse action increases the damage of his Kikon move. That is the cinematic super. So this was actually the default 2 stocks +1 for Ichigo's reverse action. This means that if Ichigo has evolution, sublimation, reverse action, triggers a Soul Break, plus the 2 defaults, that is 6 in one go. It's really cool that characters have abilities this unique in the game, but the opposite also seems to happen. For instance, Rukia's Sublimation doesn't seem to give her a +1. You can see here that Byakuya has 4 stocks highlighted, meaning that Rukia can take a potential 4 stocks with her super. But once she reaches Sublimation, that number of highlighted stocks does not go up to 5. But if you look at Byakuya, the opposite actually happens. Byakuya reaches his Sublimation, and all of Rukia's stocks become highlighted, as you would expect. Now, you could theorize that maybe it's not Rukia here, it's Byakuya that has some sort of defensive buff, but later he fights against Ichigo and all 5 of his stocks light up once Ichigo reaches Sublimation. So yeah, it's unclear what's going on with Rukia here. Maybe her Sublimation is indeed weaker for some reason, or maybe it's a matchup thing. Maybe she deals less damage if she's fighting against her brother. I wouldn't put it past him. It would be kind of cool, actually. Competitively bad, but kinda cool for fan service. But what about taking all 9 stocks of Konpaku at once? Is that even possible? Short answer, we don't know yet. But given the amount of time that you need to build up the Spirit Drive, that is the bar that comes after Sublimation, it might be possible that reaching Spirit Drive just gives you an instant kill on your opponent. Given how much they've talked about turning the battle in one hit and hitting your opponent with a one-hit kill, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that Spirit Drive actually allows you to take all 9 stocks in one go. On the other hand, when they talked about one-hit kills, they might have been talking about this. Byakuya here was nowhere near the 30% health threshold, and Yoruichi just hits him with a raw super, taking 4 stocks of Konpaku. That is 2 default, +1 for evolution, +1 for sublimation. We don't know if everyone is able to do this, by the way, if it has anything to do with sublimation or if it's something unique to Yoruichi, or maybe it's even a special power that only Taito Kubo has and no one else can do it. I'm definitely hoping for some more of those battle tip entries on the Steam page. I would love to learn more about sublimation and Spirit Drive, but even with those unknown factors, I hope this video has made the Bleach systems easier for you to understand. This feels like a creative battle system that I cannot wait to explore for myself, but how do you feel about it? Do you like the Konpaku system? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And last time we talked about Bleach was when Rangiku was announced. You can watch her trailer right here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.